In the vast expanse of the galaxy, humanity was an oddity, a species that had clawed its way into the stars despite being physically weaker and shorter-lived than most other intelligent beings. While alien civilizations relied on advanced technology or raw power to conquer space, humans thrived on something far less tangible: curiosity. It was this relentless drive to explore and understand that led them to uncover one of the greatest mysteries of the universe. Captain Ilara Voss stood at the helm of the Aegis Dawn, a sleek exploration vessel tasked with charting uncharted regions of space. Her crew consisted of scientists, engineers, and soldiers, all united by their shared mission to push the boundaries of human knowledge. The ship drifted silently through a dense asteroid field near the edge of known space when sensors picked up faint energy readings emanating from a nearby moon. Captain, called Lieutenant Dax, the ship's chief science officer, his voice tinged with excitement. "We found something unusual. It doesn't match any known signatures in our database." Ilara leaned over the console, her sharp green eyes scanning the data displayed on the holographic screen. "Let's take a closer look," she said firmly. "Deploy the shuttle." Minutes later, Ilara and a small team descended onto the barren surface of the moon. Dust swirled around their boots as they approached the source of the signal, a massive structure half buried beneath layers of rock and debris. Its metallic surface shimmered faintly under their portable lights, etched with intricate patterns that seemed almost alive, shifting slightly as if reacting to their presence. This is impossible," muttered Dr. Reena Patel, the team's archaeologist. "The craftsmanship, it's beyond anything we've ever seen. This could predate even the oldest known civilizations." As they cleared away more rubble, they uncovered what appeared to be some kind of artifact, a crystalline sphere encased in a lattice of golden metal. The moment Ilara touched it, the sphere pulsed with light, sending shockwaves of warmth through her fingertips. Suddenly, a holographic figure materialized before them, an ethereal being with elongated limbs and glowing eyes. "Warning," the figure intoned in a hauntingly calm voice. "The harrowed approach. You must prepare. Trust no one." Before anyone could react, the projection dissolved, leaving behind silence heavy with unanswered questions. What were the harrowed? And why had this long-dead civilization left such a cryptic message? Back aboard the Aegis Dawn, the crew debated what to do next. Some argued for immediate contact with the Galactic Council, while others urged caution, fearing how alien powers might respond to humanity's discovery. But Ilara knew one thing for certain: whatever secrets lay hidden within the artifact, they would change everything, for better or worse. Little did she realize just how terrifying those changes would be. For in awakening the relic, humanity had unknowingly lit a beacon, one that would draw the attention of forces far older and more dangerous than anything they could imagine. News of the artifact spread like wildfire through the galactic communication networks. Humanity's discovery was met with a mix of awe, suspicion, and outright hostility. To many alien species, humans were still newcomers to the interstellar stage, weak, fragile creatures who had only recently mastered faster-than-light travel. The idea that they had stumbled upon something so ancient and powerful unsettled their neighbors. Captain Ilara Voss and her crew aboard the Aegis Dawn were ordered to return to Earth immediately, carrying the artifact with them for further study. But as they prepared to leave the moon, trouble arrived in the form of an unmarked warship, a sleek, menacing vessel bristling with weapons. It belonged to a rogue faction known as the Krylos Syndicate, a group infamous for plundering advanced technology from weaker species. "This is Commander Zarn of the Krylos Syndicate." A gravelly voice crackled over the comms. "Hand over the relic, or we will take it by force." Ilara clenched her fists but kept her tone calm. "This artifact belongs to humanity. We're taking it back to Earth for analysis. Stand down." Zarn's laughter echoed through the speakers. "You think your little tin can stand against us? Humans are weak. Your ships are slow. Your weapons are primitive. Surrender now, and I might let you live." The Krylos ship opened fire without warning, sending a barrage of plasma bolts hurtling toward the Aegis Dawn. The human vessel rocked violently as shields absorbed the impact, sparks flying across the bridge. Alarms blared, and the crew scrambled to respond. "We're outgunned," shouted Lieutenant Dax, gripping his console tightly. "Their firepower is 3 times what we can handle." Ilara's mind raced. She glanced at the tactical display, searching for any advantage they could exploit. Then she spotted it, an asteroid field nearby. If they could lure the enemy into its chaotic maze of debris, they might have a chance. "Full throttle. Head for the asteroids," she commanded. The engines roared to life as the Aegis Dawn darted away, narrowly avoiding another salvo of enemy fire. Behind them, the Krylos ship gave chase, confident in its superiority. Inside the asteroid field, chaos reigned. Massive rocks tumbled through space, creating a deadly obstacle course. The Aegis Dawn twisted and turned with surprising agility, its smaller size allowing it to maneuver where the larger Krylos ship struggled. Ilara seized the opportunity. "Dax, target their propulsion systems. Use the asteroids to funnel them into position." Working quickly, Dax programmed a series of precise shots, firing at key points on the enemy vessel. One bolt struck true, disabling one of the Krylos ship's thrusters. With its balance compromised, the massive craft careened into an asteroid, chunks of metal and rock exploding outward. But the fight wasn't over yet. Realizing they couldn't win in a straight-up battle, the Krylos commander attempted a desperate move, hacking into the Aegis Dawn systems to disable its shields. For a moment, panic gripped the bridge as alarms screamed louder than ever. "Not today," muttered Chief Engineer Kale, typing furiously at his station. He deployed a counter-hack, using decoy signals to overload the enemy system. Within seconds, the Krylos ship went dark, drifting helplessly among the asteroids. Silence fell over the Aegis Dawn's bridge as the crew processed what had just happened. Against all odds, they had won, not through brute strength, but through quick thinking and teamwork. Ilara stared out the viewport at the damaged Krylos ship, her expression unreadable. This victory would send shockwaves through the galaxy. Other species would no longer see humans as easy prey. Instead, they'd realize something far more unsettling. Humanity was unpredictable and dangerous. As the Aegis Dawn resumed its journey to Earth, Ilara couldn't shake the feeling that this skirmish was only the beginning. Whatever secrets the artifact held, they were bound to attract even greater threats. And when those threats came, humanity would need every ounce of ingenuity and courage they could muster. Back on Earth, the artifact became the center of intense study. Scientists from around the globe gathered in a high-security facility buried deep beneath the surface, eager to unlock its secrets. The relic pulsed faintly with an inner light, as if alive and aware of their presence. Its intricate patterns shifted subtly under scrutiny, defying all attempts to categorize or replicate them. Captain Ilara Voss joined the research team, her curiosity driving her to understand what she had touched on that distant moon. She spent hours staring at the artifact, replaying the holographic message in her mind. The harrowed approach, it had warned. What were they? And why had the extinct civilization entrusted this warning to humanity? One evening, while most of the researchers worked tirelessly to decode the artifact's energy signatures, Dr. Reena Patel noticed something unusual. Whenever Ilara approached the relic, its glow intensified. At first, she dismissed it as coincidence, but after several days of observation, she couldn't ignore the pattern. "Captain," Reena said cautiously during one late-night session, "I think the artifact responds specifically to you." Ilara frowned. "What do you mean?" Reena hesitated before explaining. "We've been trying to activate certain functions for weeks without success, but when you're near it, things change. It's almost like it recognizes you." Intrigued and slightly uneasy, Ilara agreed to participate in a controlled experiment. They placed her alone in a sterile chamber with the artifact, monitoring every reaction through advanced sensors. As soon as she touched its smooth surface, the relic emitted a burst of energy that nearly blinded the cameras. A surge coursed through her body, leaving her dizzy but exhilarated. When the scientists reviewed the data, they found something astonishing. The artifact wasn't just reacting to Ilara. It was enhancing her. Her neural activity spiked dramatically, processing information faster than ever before. Reflex tests showed her reactions were now lightning quick, far beyond human norms. Even more shocking, subtle telekinetic abilities began to manifest. She could move small objects with focused thought. "This is incredible," Reyna whispered, awestruck. "It's unlocking potential within you that we didn't even know existed." But not everyone shared her enthusiasm. General Marcus Hale, head of Earth's defense forces, viewed the discovery with suspicion. "This isn't natural," he growled during a briefing. "We don't know what kind of risks come with these enhancements. For all we know, this thing could be rewriting her DNA." Ilara bristled at his tone. "With respect, General, I feel fine. Stronger, sharper. If this is what the artifact does, maybe it's meant to help us prepare for whatever's coming." Hale crossed his arms, unconvinced. "Or maybe it's turning you into something else entirely. Something dangerous." As debates raged among Earth's leaders, Ilara struggled with her own transformation. Late at night, she experienced vivid dreams, or perhaps visions, of shadowy figures swarming across alien landscapes, consuming everything in their path. She woke drenched in sweat, heart pounding, unsure whether these images came from the artifact or her own subconscious. Despite the uncertainty, one truth became clear. Humanity's connection to the artifact was unique. Whether it was a gift or a curse remained to be seen. But as tensions mounted both on Earth and among the stars, Ilara realized that the artifact had already begun to shape humanity's destiny. And whatever lay ahead, she would play a pivotal role in it. News of Ilara's transformation spread quickly, igniting a firestorm of debate across Earth and beyond. The artifact's effects on her were undeniable. Her enhanced speed, intellect, and emerging telekinetic abilities made her a living testament to humanity's potential. But not everyone saw this as a cause for celebration. While some hailed her as proof of humanity's evolution, others viewed her as a harbinger of chaos, a dangerous experiment that could spiral out of control. Tensions escalated when footage of Ilara moving objects with her mind leaked to the public. Social media erupted with both awe and fear. Protesters gathered outside government buildings, holding signs that read, "No to human mutation," and "Stop playing God." Conspiracy theories flourished, claiming the artifact was a weapon designed to enslave humanity rather than protect it. Even within Earth's ruling council, divisions deepened. General Marcus Hale led the opposition, arguing that the enhancements posed an existential threat. "This isn't progress. It's reckless," he declared during an emergency session. "If we let this continue unchecked, we risk losing our humanity altogether. Are we soldiers or lab rats? Where does it end?" On the other side stood Dr. Reena Patel, who passionately defended the project. "The artifact chose us for a reason," she argued. "It's preparing us for something bigger, something we can't yet comprehend. Turning away from this opportunity would be suicide." Ilara sat silently as the arguments raged around her, feeling like a pawn in a game she hadn't asked to play. She understood both sides. She felt the weight of responsibility growing heavier with each passing day. Was she becoming stronger, or was she being reshaped into something alien? And if so, what did that mean for the rest of humanity? Amidst the chaos, factions began to form. Some governments pushed for aggressive expansion, eager to harness the artifact's power to create an army of super soldiers. Others advocated caution, fearing the consequences of tampering with forces they barely understood. Meanwhile, rogue groups emerged, determined to destroy the artifact before it could corrupt humanity further. Ilara found herself caught between these extremes. Her loyalty lay with Earth, But she couldn't ignore the whispers in her mind, the visions of shadowy figures and burning worlds. She knew time was running out. Whatever the Herod were, they weren't idle. Humanity needed to prepare. But how? Her answer came unexpectedly one evening while reviewing classified reports. A small colony on the edge of human space had gone dark without explanation. Surveillance drones sent to investigate returned images of devastation, scorched landscapes, empty cities, and eerie silence. There were no survivors. "This is it," Ilara said grimly, showing the footage to her team. "This is what happens when the Herod arrive. We don't have the luxury of division anymore. Either we unite and adapt, or we die." Her words struck a chord, but unity wouldn't come easily. Trust had fractured under the strain of fear and ambition. As leaders bickered over next steps, Ilara made a bold decision. She would take matters into her own hands. With or without official approval, she would push forward with testing the artifact's limits, not just on herself, but on volunteers willing to embrace humanity's new destiny. Late that night, standing alone in the chamber with the glowing relic, Ilara whispered a promise to herself. "If I am to become a weapon, then let me be one forged by choice, not fear." As the artifact pulsed brighter in response, she realized the hardest battles were still ahead, not against enemies in the stars, but against doubt within her own heart. Humanity's fragile unity shattered completely when the Herod struck without warning. The attack came in the dead of night, targeting a bustling space station orbiting Earth's moon, a hub of trade and diplomacy that symbolized humanity's place among the stars. One moment, the station buzzed with life. The next, it was engulfed in chaos as biomechanical horrors poured through its corridors. The Herod were unlike anything humanity had ever faced. They moved with eerie precision, their segmented bodies glinting like polished steel under emergency lights. Each creature seemed to operate as part of a single hive mind, communicating silently and acting in perfect coordination. Worse still, they didn't just destroy, they assimilated. Organic matter was consumed and repurposed into more of their kind, leaving behind only hollow husks where living beings once stood. Captain Ilara Voss received the distress signal while overseeing tests at the artifact facility. Her heart sank as she watched footage from the station's security cameras. Terrified civilians running for their lives, soldiers firing futilely at the relentless invaders. The Herod ignored conventional weapons, their metallic shells deflecting bullets and energy blasts alike. Within hours, the station fell silent. "This is it," General Marcus Hale said grimly during an emergency meeting. "The Herod are here, and if we don't act now, Earth will be next." Ilara knew he was right. Humanity's survival depended on stopping this incursion and proving that they could fight back. She volunteered to lead a counterattack, assembling a small team of elite soldiers equipped with prototype weapons designed to exploit the Herod's weaknesses. Though untested, these tools represented humanity's best hope. As the team approached the ruined station aboard a stealth shuttle, tension hung thick in the air. None of them had faced combat on this scale before, and fear gnawed at even the bravest hearts. But Ilara radiated calm determination, her enhanced abilities giving her an edge no one else possessed. Inside the station, the scene was apocalyptic. Twisted metal and shattered glass littered the halls, mingling with the grotesque remnants of the Herod's victims. The creatures lurked in shadows, waiting to ambush intruders. When the first wave attacked, Ilara's reflexes saved her team. Moving faster than humanly possible, she dodged claws and redirected debris with telekinetic bursts, buying precious seconds for her squad to regroup. "Stay close," she shouted, her voice steady despite the carnage around them. "Focus your fire on their joints. It's their weak point." Her strategy worked. By targeting the seams in the Herod's armor, the team managed to disable several units, slowing the swarm's advance. But victory came at a cost. 2 soldiers fell during the battle, their screams echoing hauntingly through the wreckage. Just when it seemed the tide might turn, A massive Herod drone emerged, a towering monstrosity bristling with jagged limbs and pulsating cores. It dwarfed the others, exuding an aura of menace that froze even Ilara in her tracks. "We can't take that thing head-on," muttered Sergeant Kale, his voice trembling. "We're outmatched." Ilara clenched her fists, her mind racing. Then she remembered something. The artifact's energy signature matched the faint hum emanating from the drone. If she could channel its power. Summoning every ounce of focus, Ilara unleashed a surge of telekinetic force, tearing apart nearby wreckage and hurling it at the drone. Sparks flew as the makeshift projectiles struck true, destabilizing its core. With a deafening roar, the creature collapsed, its body disintegrating into ash. The team escaped moments later, battered but alive. As they returned to Earth, Ilara stared out the viewport at the ruined station, her resolve hardening. Humanity had survived its first encounter, but barely. To win the war ahead, they would need more than courage. They would need evolution. And Ilara intended to ensure humanity rose to meet it. In the wake of the Herod attack, humanity faced a grim reality. Survival would require more than just courage or ingenuity. It demanded transformation. Governments around the world rallied behind Project Ascension, an ambitious initiative to unlock the full potential of the artifact's power and create an army capable of standing against the Herod. Captain Ilara Voss became the face of the program, her enhanced abilities serving as both inspiration and proof of concept. The project was housed in a sprawling underground facility carved into the heart of a mountain. Hundreds of scientists, engineers, and soldiers worked tirelessly to replicate the effects of the artifact on willing volunteers. Recruits underwent rigorous physical and mental conditioning, their bodies pushed to the limits while researchers experimented with ways to safely integrate the relic's energy into human biology. Ilara took on the role of lead instructor, guiding recruits through grueling simulations designed to test not only their strength, but also their adaptability, the hallmark of human resilience. Among the trainees was Kale, the skeptical engineer who had questioned the ethics of the project earlier. Though he initially joined out of duty rather than belief, Kale quickly proved himself resourceful and determined, earning respect from his peers, and even Ilara herself. Training sessions were intense and unforgiving. Soldiers sparred in zero-gravity chambers, navigated labyrinthine obstacle courses filled with automated drones, and practiced coordinating telekinetic abilities in combat scenarios. Mistakes were punished harshly. Hesitation could mean death in a real fight against the Herod. Yet despite the pressure, bonds formed among the recruits. They weren't just fighting for themselves. They were fighting for each other, for Earth, and for the future of humanity. But as progress accelerated, so did doubts. During one simulation, Cal noticed flaws in the training protocols that mirrored issues he'd seen in the artifact's initial tests. The enhancements came at a cost. Recruits experienced migraines, memory lapses, and unpredictable surges of power they struggled to control. Worse still, some began exhibiting signs of emotional instability, lashing out at teammates or retreating into isolation. Cal confronted Ilara after a particularly brutal session. "We're turning them into weapons," he said bluntly, his voice tinged with frustration. "But what happens when those weapons turn on us? You've seen what unchecked power can do." Ilara sighed, rubbing her temples. She knew he was right. She'd felt the strain herself. The artifact's energy was intoxicating, tempting her to push harder, go faster, think sharper. But it also whispered darker thoughts, urging her to embrace ruthlessness in the name of victory. "I don't have all the answers," she admitted quietly. "But if we don't find a way to balance strength with humanity, then maybe we don't deserve to survive." Her honesty disarmed him. For the first time, Kale saw the weight of leadership pressing down on her shoulders. He realized she wasn't just training soldiers. She was trying to protect them from becoming something unrecognizable. Determined to address the flaws, Kale worked alongside the scientists to refine the enhancement process, developing fail-safes to prevent overexertion and stabilize neural activity. Meanwhile, Ilara implemented new exercises focused on teamwork and empathy, reminding recruits why they fought. Not for conquest, but for preservation. As weeks turned into months, the first wave of ascended soldiers emerged, their eyes gleaming with newfound determination. They were stronger, faster, and smarter, but still unmistakably human. Standing before them on graduation day, Ilara felt a flicker of hope. Humanity might be fragile, but it was also adaptable. And if there was one thing the galaxy had yet to understand, it was that humanity's greatest weapon wasn't its technology or its strength, it was its refusal to give up. Little did they know, their true test was closer than anyone imagined. Reports poured in of another Herod incursion, this time targeting Earth itself. As alarms blared across the facility, Ilara locked eyes with Kale. "Are you ready?" she asked. He nodded, gripping his weapon tightly. "Let's show them what we're made of." Together, they marched toward the battlefield, ready to defend their home, and prove once and for all that humanity was no longer prey. As humanity prepared for war, unity began to fracture under the weight of fear and ambition. The Herod's relentless advance had pushed Earth's leaders to desperate measures, but not everyone agreed on the path forward. Some saw Project Ascension as humanity's salvation. Others viewed it as a dangerous gamble that could doom them all. Captain Ilara Voss stood at the center of the storm, her every decision scrutinized by both allies and enemies. She had become a symbol of hope for many, a living testament to humanity's potential, but also a target for those who feared what she represented. Rumors swirled about her growing powers, with some accusing her of losing touch with her humanity. Even among her own team, whispers of doubt began to surface. The betrayal came from within. High-ranking official counselor Alden Drake, once a vocal supporter of the project, secretly leaked classified information to hostile alien factions. In exchange for promises of protection, he framed humanity as the real threat to galactic stability, claiming their enhancements made them unstable and unpredictable. To make matters worse, a splinter group of rogue humans, dubbed the Purists, sabotaged key facilities, destroying equipment and spreading propaganda that portrayed the ascended soldiers as monsters. Ilara learned of the sabotage during a routine inspection of one of the training centers. Explosions rocked the compound, sending flames licking into the sky. Smoke choked the air as alarms screamed, and chaos erupted among the recruits. Amidst the confusion, Kale pulled her aside, his face grim. "It's internal," he said, holding up a fragment of a detonator marked with the Purists' insignia. This wasn't an accident, it was deliberate. Ilara clenched her fists, anger boiling beneath her calm exterior. "They're trying to tear us apart from the inside." But the worst blow came when news broke of Counselor Drake's treachery. A recorded message surfaced, showing him speaking with alien diplomats, urging them to isolate Earth until humanity could prove it wasn't a danger. The Galactic Council responded swiftly, imposing sanctions and cutting off vital resources. Humanity found itself more alone than ever, its allies turning their backs just as the Herod threat loomed larger. Faced with betrayal on multiple fronts, Ilara knew she had to act fast. She convened an emergency meeting with her closest advisors, including Kale and Dr. Irina Patel. Together, they devised a plan to expose Drake's duplicity and rally support from unlikely quarters. Using data recovered from the sabotage facility, Kale traced communications back to Drake's private terminal. With this evidence in hand, Ilara confronted him during a live broadcast intended to address Earth's citizens. As cameras rolled, she revealed the truth. Drake had sold out humanity for personal gain, leaving countless lives at risk. "You wanted to protect our species," Ilara demanded, her voice cutting through the tension like a blade. "Instead, you've endangered everything we've built. If we fall now, it won't be because of the Herod. It'll be because of traitors like you." Drake stammered, his lies crumbling under the weight of undeniable proof. Public outrage erupted, forcing him to resign in disgrace. But while the immediate crisis was averted, the damage had been done. Alien distrust lingered and divisions within humanity remained deep. Still, Ilara refused to give up. Knowing they couldn't win alone, she reached out to former allies who had turned away, appealing to their shared history and common goals. One by one, hesitant voices began to speak up, offering aid in secret. Among them was Zinara, the reptilian warrior queen whose people had long dismissed humans as weaklings. "I do not trust your kind," Zinara admitted during a clandestine meeting aboard the Aegis Dawn. "But I respect your courage. If you can stand against the Herod, perhaps there is hope for us all." With fragile alliances forming and time running out, Ilara prepared her forces for the battle ahead. The Herod were closing in, their shadows stretching across the stars. Humanity would need every ounce of strength, and every ally, to survive. As she gazed at the faces of her soldiers, Ilara reminded herself why they fought. Not for power or glory, but for survival. And if humanity fell, it wouldn't be without a fight. With Earth's resources dwindling and alien distrust at an all-time high, Captain Ilara Voss embarked on a perilous diplomatic mission. Her goal was simple yet monumental: to unite the fractured factions of the galaxy under one banner in preparation for humanity's final stand against the Herod. It was a daunting task, but failure wasn't an option, not when the survival of countless species hung in the balance. Ilara traveled aboard the Aegis Dawn, accompanied by a small team that included Kel and Dr. Rina Patel. Their journey took them to distant corners of the galaxy, where they sought out leaders willing to listen, or at least consider, the case for cooperation. Each meeting tested her patience, resolve, and ability to think on her feet. Some alien rulers dismissed her outright, viewing humans as unworthy partners. Others demanded concessions or guarantees before committing their forces. But Ilara refused to back down, drawing on every ounce of charisma and determination she possessed. One of her most critical encounters was with Zinara, the stoic reptilian warrior queen whose people had once mocked humanity's fragility. During their initial meeting, Zinara remained skeptical, her piercing golden eyes scanning Ilara as if searching for signs of weakness. "Why should we risk our lives for you?" Zinara asked bluntly. "You are short-lived, unpredictable, and reckless." Ilara met her gaze without flinching. "Because we're adaptable," she replied firmly. "We may not live long, but we make every moment count. We don't have superior strength or technology, but we find ways to win, even when the odds are stacked against us. And right now, the Herod are everyone's problem, not just ours." Zinara studied her for a long moment before nodding slowly. "Perhaps there is wisdom in your words. My warriors will join your cause, but only if you lead from the front. Prove yourself worthy, and we will follow." Another pivotal ally came in the form of Threnok, a hyper-intelligent insectoid strategist known for his analytical mind and unparalleled tactical prowess. Meeting him required navigating a labyrinthine hive city suspended over a toxic gas giant. Threnok listened intently as Ilara outlined humanity's plan, occasionally clicking his mandibles in thought. "You propose unity," Threnok said finally. "Yet unity often breeds chaos. How do you intend to maintain order among such disparate factions?" Ilara smiled faintly. "By focusing on what unites us: survival. The Herod don't discriminate. They'll consume us all. If we work together, we can turn that fear into strength." Threnok tilted his head, considering. "Your logic is sound. My drones will assist in coordinating fleet movements. But know this, if your leadership falters, so too will our support." As alliances grew stronger, so did the sense of purpose within Ilara's own ranks. News of alien cooperation spread across Earth, reigniting hope among those who had doubted humanity's chances. Even General Marcus Hale softened his stance, acknowledging that working alongside other species might be their only chance. The coalition devised a bold strategy, a multi-pronged assault aimed at crippling the Herod's central hive network. Human ingenuity combined with alien expertise created innovative weapons and tactics designed to exploit the Herod's weaknesses. Meanwhile, Kale worked tirelessly to ensure supply lines remained intact, while Rena coordinated medical teams capable of treating both human and alien casualties. But as preparations neared completion, Ilara couldn't shake the feeling that victory would come at a steep price. The Herod were relentless, and their numbers seemed endless. Still, she reminded herself of the lessons learned during her journey. Strength lay not in individual power, but in unity. Standing before the assembled fleet, Ilara addressed soldiers from dozens of species, their ships forming a massive armada ready to face the enemy. "This isn't just about saving Earth," she declared, her voice steady and resolute. "It's about proving that no matter how different we are, we can stand together against darkness. Let's show the Herod and the galaxy what true courage looks like." With engines roaring and weapons primed, the fleet launched into the void, heading toward the Herod homeworld. Humanity's greatest battle awaited, but for the first time, they weren't alone. The combined fleet of humanity and its newfound allies emerged from hyperspace near the Herod homeworld, a bleak expanse of shattered moons orbiting a dying star. The sight was chilling. Countless biomechanical ships swarmed like insects around a central nexus, a massive structure pulsating with dark energy. It was clear this was the heart of the Herod hive mind, the source of their relentless expansion. Captain Ilara Voss stood on the bridge of the Aegis Dawn, her enhanced senses processing the battlefield faster than ever before. Around her, alien commanders coordinated strategies over secure channels, their voices calm but tense. Every species had brought its best warriors, weapons, and technology to this fight, but none underestimated the odds they faced. "Phase 1 is go," Kale announced, his voice steady despite the tension. "Strike teams are in position." The plan was daring. Human fighters, supported by Zanara's agile reptilian gunships, would lead diversionary attacks to draw the Herod swarm away from the Nexus. Meanwhile, Threnok's insectoid drones would infiltrate deep into enemy territory, disabling key defenses and creating openings for the main assault force. At the center of it all, Ilara herself would lead ground troops directly into the Nexus, determined to destroy the Herod's core. As the first wave engaged, chaos erupted across space. Plasma bolts and energy beams crisscrossed the void, lighting up the darkness with bursts of destruction. Zanara's warriors darted through the fray with unmatched precision, their claws slicing through smaller Herod units. Human pilots executed maneuvers no other species could replicate, using unpredictable flight patterns to outwit the enemy. But the Herod adapted quickly, their hive mind learning and countering almost instantly. Ships fell left and right, their crews lost to the void. Panic threatened to creep in as casualties mounted, but then came the breakthrough. "Drones have breached the outer defenses," Threnok reported, his clicks sharp with urgency. "Proceed to Phase 2. Ilara led her team aboard dropships hurtling toward the Nexus. Inside, the air was thick with dread as they prepared for what lay ahead. When the doors opened, they were greeted by a nightmare. Corridors lined with writhing organic matter, walls that seemed alive, and endless waves of Herod drones closing in. "Stay sharp," Ilara shouted, unleashing telekinetic bursts to clear paths forward. Her soldiers fought valiantly, their training paying off as they worked together seamlessly. Still, progress was slow and costly. Each step deeper into the Nexus felt heavier, the oppressive weight of the Herod's presence pressing down on them. Kale played a crucial role during the final push. Using his engineering skills, he deciphered the Nexus's control systems, identifying vulnerabilities in its power grid. With seconds to spare, he rerouted energy flows, causing sections of the structure to collapse and trapping pursuing Herod forces behind barriers of molten metal. Finally, they reached the core, a pulsating mass of biomechanical tissue suspended in a web of glowing tendrils. As Ilara approached, she felt a surge of recognition. The artifact's energy resonated here, confirming her worst fears. The Herod weren't just invaders. They were creations of the same ancient civilization that had left the relic behind. A defense mechanism gone rogue. "We end this now," Ilara said, gripping an experimental explosive device designed to disrupt the Herod's neural network. She activated it and stepped back, watching as the countdown began. Suddenly, a towering Herod drone emerged, blocking their escape. Its eyes glowed with malevolent intelligence, and it spoke, not in words, but directly into their minds. "You cannot stop us. We are eternal." Ilara didn't hesitate. Summoning every ounce of her power, she unleashed a devastating telekinetic blast that tore the creature apart. Behind her, the core exploded in a blinding flash of light, shaking the entire structure. As alarms screamed and debris rained down, the team fled toward extraction points. Outside, the Herod fleet began to falter, their centralized control severed. Cheers erupted among the Allied forces as victory finally seemed within reach. But Ilara knew better. This war might be won, but humanity's transformation and place in the galaxy was only beginning. The Herod homeworld crumbled under the weight of its own destruction, consumed by the very forces it had unleashed. As the Allied fleet retreated to safe distance, the massive nexus imploded in a cataclysmic burst of energy that lit up the void like a dying star. For a moment, silence reigned, a fragile pause in the chaos as survivors processed what they had accomplished. Captain Ilara Voss stood on the bridge of the Aegis Dawn, her body weary, but her mind racing. The battle was over, but the cost weighed heavily on her heart. Thousands of lives, human and alien alike, had been lost in the fight. Ships drifted lifelessly through space, their crews gone forever. Yet amid the devastation, there was hope. The Herod threat had been neutralized, at least for now. "This changes everything," General Marcus Hale said quietly during a debriefing session aboard Earth's orbital command center. His tone carried none of its usual skepticism. Instead, he sounded reflective. "We've proven we can stand alongside others, not just survive, but lead." Ilara nodded, though her thoughts were far away. She couldn't shake the revelation about the Herod's origins, the knowledge that humanity had awakened something ancient and uncontrollable. It wasn't enough to simply defeat them. They needed to understand why such weapons existed and ensure nothing like this could happen again. In the days that followed, humanity took its place among the stars with newfound respect and fear. Alien species who had once dismissed humans as weaklings now regarded them with cautious admiration. Stories of their ingenuity, adaptability, and sheer determination spread across the galaxy, inspiring both awe and unease. Humanity wasn't just another race anymore. It was a force to be reckoned with. Ilara delivered a powerful speech before the Galactic Council, urging unity rather than division moving forward. Standing before representatives from dozens of worlds, she spoke not just as a leader, but as a symbol of resilience. "We've faced our darkest hour together," she began, her voice steady despite her exhaustion. "And though victory is ours today, we must remember, survival isn't about strength alone. It's about how we choose to use it. If we turn inward, if we let fear rule us, then we become no better than the Herod themselves. Let this moment remind us that cooperation, not conquest, is our greatest weapon." Her words resonated deeply, earning nods of agreement even from former adversaries. Slowly, tentative alliances solidified into lasting partnerships. Earth became a hub of innovation and diplomacy, blending human creativity with alien expertise to rebuild shattered systems and heal wounds inflicted by war. But for Ilara, peace brought new challenges. The artifact remained enigmatic, its full potential still untapped. Some urged further experimentation, believing humanity could unlock even greater abilities. Others argued for its destruction, fearing the risks outweighed any reward. Ilara found herself torn between these extremes, knowing the relic held answers, but also dangers. Late one night, she returned to the chamber where the artifact rested, Its glow dimmer than before. Touching its surface, she felt a faint pulse, almost like a heartbeat. Memories of the harrowed surged back, reminding her of the fine line between evolution and corruption. "Whatever you are," she whispered, "you've changed us forever. I just hope we're ready." As dawn broke over Earth, Ilara gazed at the stars, wondering what lay ahead. Humanity had faced extinction and emerged stronger, but at what cost? The galaxy was vast, unpredictable, and full of unknown threats. And while humanity had earned its seat at the table, Ilara knew their journey was far from over. For now, though, she allowed herself a rare smile. They had survived. Together, they had triumphed. And perhaps, just perhaps, that was enough to face whatever came next.